Welcome everybody, Shir number 926. We're learning today Le'ilei Nishmas Moshe Dov Bemer Baran Zizel, Le'ilei Nishmas Blima Bas Rav Moshe, and Le'fuh Shlema Mamul Bas Braina Leah. Okay, getting back to our malacha of MAKEH B'PATISH. Okay, so we're in the middle of talking about the various different type of noisemakers. We're talking about the Indian right now of making noise on Shabbos with utensils that taka make noise, and we're in the middle a little bit of talking about these different type of toys in general that make. We started talking about it last year, just to go through a little bit more with that. And by the way, this sefer, very important sefer to have. I left it out last time, nothing to do with Shabbos, but in general, children in halacha is very important. Children in halacha from Reb Simcha ben Imkon Shlita. Hitaka brings down all various different type of shilas that pertain to children during the week and on Shabbos. Obviously, many shilas come up on Shabbos. So he goes through some various different type of toys and how to work with them that are possibly noisemakers on Shabbos in conjunction with children. Okay, so we we brought down from the Shulchan Aruch. In general, the utensils in general that are made to make noise are taka asa to use on Shabbos in general, even though one is not using them for musical sounds. Now, in this issue we spoke about it, a door knocker and so on, bells. Now you have, when it comes to toys, we spoke about last year, you have various different type of toys. You have whistles, you have rattles, you have talking dolls, you have toy telephones, even if there's nothing to do with a battery. Just like this, sometimes manually, another type of toys. That are all these type of toys brings down the Sefer Shabbos. Children in Halah. He brings down these type of toys are all designed to emit noise, and when one plays with them, that's the point of the toy. Now, so in general, these are us. But just to go through the various, he goes through the various different type of children. In other words, older children, a little bit younger children. It goes without saying. We understand when it's a noisemaker, an adult cannot use it. That's not even the question. Again, we're dealing even without batteries, without electric. When it's a type of a toy, like we said, toy telephones, dolls, whistles, rattles, an adult is not supposed to use them. Okay, so now he talks about, again, say for children in Allah, he talks about children above the age of chinuch, Now, what exactly that age is a little bit of machlokes. Approximately, he brings down, again, Reb Simcha ben Imkon Shlita brings in the Sefer, approximately 4 years. Others want to say when the child has a little bit of an understanding what Shabbos is all about. But he does bring down approximately 4 years, roughly. I guess that's a general type of an age. He says like this: children above the chinuch should be taught not to use any toys which are designed to make noise. Now again, the toys that are designed to make noise. However, if its primary use does not require noise, but is it's made with a noisemaker. In other words, like we spoke about last time, possibly a wind-up car, and the child plays with the car. It has nothing to do with the noise. It couldn't care less about the noise. So the child is permitted to play with the toy, provided that the child is not interested in the noise-producing function on the toy. In other words, the child's not going to go and say, well, I like this car because of the sound it makes from the wind-up. In general, there's certain toys that are made for playing with, and even though it has a toy, it's a separate thing which people are not interested. He brings down another example. I'm not so familiar with this, but a type of a merry-go-round which emits a type of a clicking sound when it spins. There are different type of toys that make a clicking sound when it spins, and it's just made for the merry-go-round. There's no music or anything like that. So such a thing, he brings down this wind-up toy, which I mentioned, but the others, since the sound is only secondary, it's a secondary feature to the spinning toy, or maybe possibly a top we spoke about last time also makes a sound, but the main thing is the spinning, right? So that's the main thing. So he says those toys will be fine for the children. In general, the adults, he brings down again, like we said last time, some poskim can disagree with the ruling, and an adult in general should therefore not rely on the lenient ruling, even with these type of toys for an adult. Okay, so that's children that are a little bit older, possibly 4 or 5 or so. But let's say even younger children, let's say a child 2 or 3. And the child now takes the toy by themselves. What do you have to do? The child takes the talking doll and plays with it, right? The child is 2 years old, and he'll take the toy telephone, and it makes like a sound that comes out, right? Or they might take a whistle, stop blowing the whistle. So what do you do in such a situation? So he brings down, does Reb Simcha ben Imkon, that, again, in Children in Halacha, on page 134, by the way, it could be found on page 134 if anybody's looking for it, children below the age of chinuch are permitted to play with noise-making toys, including, for example, talking dolls. However, one may not place the toy in the child's hands. Okay, we're not going to get into the whole thing to put an isser into a child's hands, even below is also to do. We're not getting into that whole halacha right now. So that's what he says, not to place the toy in the child's hands, rather it may be placed in front. So for the child to take it, that's what he says. Children below the age of chinuch are permitted to play with the noise, right? The little child takes the noise-making toy, right? And this talking doll, this talking phone. So you let him go, and that's it. But not just that, that's what he says. Even to, rather it may be placed, if the child needs it, he wants it, whatever, he can't get it, whatever the case is, rather it may be placed, he says, not to put into his hand, but it may be placed in front of the child, in order that the child take the toy by themselves. Okay, so now he says further that, we'll see in a minute, the Sefer Shmir Shabbos Hilchos talks about this issue with a rattle. If the child does not wish to take the toy by himself and is unhappy, this young child, let's say 2 years old or whatever, just give me an example, is unhappy without the toy, they need the toy, and it's permitted to place the toy in the child's hands, he brings down. However, when doing so, one should be careful not to shake the toy or otherwise cause it to make noise. Because again, these noisemakers, he brings it down from Shals Teshuvos of Eivarech David. A regular noisemaker, when an adult has to be careful, obviously, not to use it to make the noise. In situations, he does end off in situations where this too is unavoidable. It's nevertheless permissible to hand the toy to the child. So the bottom line is, in these situations with these noise-making type toys, as much as possible, a child under chinuch, a child over chinuch, like we said, one should try little by little. He should wean the child off that he should know it's Shabbos and that's it. But under chinuch, so as much as possible, the child should try and take it by himself, or to go through the various different steps if the child, for whatever reason, can't take it, like we mentioned. Now, just interesting to note, when it comes to a rattle, number one, or a noisy, squeezable type things, they have like a little squeezy, rubber ducky type thing. Little babies, sometimes they have. Sometimes when, not talking about on Shabbos taking the bath, but sometimes during the weekday when they take a bath, you have these little rubber duckies that the little children, the babies take into the bathtub with them, and then you have a rattle for younger children, babies. So the Sefer Shabbos, Shmir Shabbos Hilchos, in Perek Tes Zayin, actually brings down in Ois Gimel, he says like this: one could actually give a baby toys which make a noise when shaken or squeezed, even though such toys are taka muksa. For an adult, it would be muksa in general, but possibly klisha malach delis or whatever. We're not going to get into the whole issue of muksa right now, but for an adult, l'maisa, there would be muksa. But in this case, he brings out one may give a baby toys which make noise when shaken or squeezed, even though they're taka muksa. When a child needs it. But he does bring down that it is, of course, forbidden. It's also for the adult to make such a noise, to make such toys emit the sound, even if one wishes to do so in order to amuse the baby. That's an important point that the Sefer Shmir Shabbos Hilchos brings down, that for an adult to shake these rattles or squeezy type of rubber ducky or whatever you want to call it, that emits sound, that Taka says it will be usher for the adult to do it, even if they wish it to do it in order to make the baby calm him down. We're talking about a case where the baby's cranky or whatever, something like that. But to put it in their hands in such a small baby, he says that would be fine. Okay, so the Rebbe Simcha ben Imkom was in Children in Allah. He was talking about possibly not babies, like a child is already 1.5, 2. They could take it by themselves, so it's not by a baby. They can't take it by themselves. But there's a child a little bit older, 2 years old or whatever. So then obviously it's much easier where the child could take it by themselves or possibly placing it in front of them. So to try and go step by step from moving away from having to put it into their hands. When it comes to a baby, there's no real way out. But the adult shouldn't. Thank you for listening. Aslach and bracha kol tov.